Gotcha. Sorry, not in uniform. I'll explain in a second. Let's get started. Welcome everybody. It's Patrick with Strips of Valor, and as you can see, it is snowing out this morning. Yeah, it's kind of been fun. So today's a special day because today is Veterans Day, and as you can tell from the first little clip, I did serve in the Air Force. That was my uniform, and you might be asking why I didn't put on the uniform and make this little montage. It's because of Air Force regulations. So Air Force regulations state that in order for me to be in uniform properly, I must not have facial hair, at least below here, and my sideburns no lower than the bottom opening of my ear. And unfortunately, with it being so cold in Wisconsin, I did not want to shave. And it's bad enough that Angry Cop and Donut will probably make fun of me for being in the Air Force. I didn't want them to razz me even more for being out of military code, which is you can't have facial hair while wearing uniform, at least having a beard. So today's episode is going to be really special because we are going to be talking about the military. So this is the third part of the skilled trades or college degree. So the military is actually going to be part of the skilled trades, and I'm going to go over all your training options, all your options for schooling. We're going to talk about the GI Bill. We're going to talk about how you can learn skills while also serving your country, and which will minimize your debt. So we're going to get started right now. Alright guys, let's get started. So I'm going to use a lot of my experience with being in the Air Force and as a skilled tradesman to make this video. I know a lot has changed since 2006. That's the last time that I was actually in the military. That's when I was honorably discharged. So there's been some changes, but I have done a little bit of research. Actually, I've done quite a bit of research to help you guys make the right decision. So one option that you have besides going to school or going to an apprenticeship is to join the military. And I know some of you guys can be like, oh no, why are another guy telling us to go to the military? And I'm not saying that you need to go to the military. It is an option though for those of you that want to kind of accomplish two things. First, you want to become a skilled tradesman, or you want to obtain a really worthy career, a job. And it's also for those people that also want to serve their country. It's a great option. For me, I wanted to serve my country. Ever since I was a little boy, I always wanted to put on a uniform and run around. And so logically, I decided to join the Air Force. Usually when you think of soldier, you don't think of Air Force, but hey, let's put it this way. We get air conditioning and we have the best chow, and you can tell by my face, but you can't see my gut, but I like food. So if you like sleeping in the dirt, there are other options, and we will discuss that. So here's an option. So I'm going to mainly use the Air Force just because, once again, I was prior military in the Air Force. So when you get into basic training, which I'm going to tell you right now, whatever the recruiter says, it's all a lie. Unless you get that 1% of recruiters that actually tells you the truth, it is going to be hard. Maybe not as hard as it used to be, but it's still hard. Their goal is to break you down and build you back up to be a soldier. So if you think it's just going to be like, hey, everybody gets a participation trophy and you get your coin and you get your coin and here's some stripes, and no, it's not going to happen. It's going to be a lot of work. So you have to be physically in shape. You have to be able to pass their push-ups, sit-ups, and their run. There's a lot of shots you have to take. And you have to be able to get screamed at with a guy like right here. Like I had a TI. It was like this tall. He'd stick his brim of his hat like right here, right into my forehead, and just scream at me from here and just spit all up in my face. You got to get used to that, guys. So if you think it's not for you, you'd be surprised. My brother was not into authority, and he loved being in the Air Force. So when you get to boot camp, you go in as an E1. It's the lowest rank you can have in the military. and you don't make that much. Let's put it this way. So an E1 makes about $1,680 a month. A month. It's not a lot. And then when you take into account for some of the deductions you're gonna have during basic training, you'll be lucky if you get about $1,000, especially after taxes, because you still get taxed on this stuff. So boot camp, you're not gonna make a lot of money. So depending on how you went in, you'll either graduate as an E2, which is the Airman First Class, or I take that back, that's just the Airman. So you'll either come out as an Airman or an Airman First Class. So Airman is E2, and you'll make less than $1,900, $1,884 roughly, before taxes, which turns out to be a little over $22,000 a year. Once again, not great money. So usually if you're active duty, you'll graduate boot camp as an E2. If you decide to go to the National Guard or the reserves, typically you'll actually graduate boot camp as an E3, Airman First Class, which makes about $25,000, a little bit more, probably about $25,268 a month, or a year. That's I wish I made $25,000 a month. No, $25,000 a year. Once again, not a lot of money. So it kind of depends on how much you want to be made fun of. So you're already if you join the Air Force, you're already going to get made fun of by most of the branches. Both Angry Cop and Donut and Black Rifle Coffee, they'll all pretty much agree. Everybody makes fun of the Air Force. But then we collectively all make fun of the Coast Guard. So it's just how it is. It's just, we're glorified stewardess, as what I've been told numerous times. We don't have the greatest looking uniforms. It's basically a blue suit. We're not like the Marines with their awesome uniforms, or the Navy with their 14 different combinations of uniforms. It's just that blue suit. But we also get, I think our medical people are some of the best in the world. We have the best chow in the world, especially boot camp, surprisingly. When I was in boot camp, our chow hall was rated the best chow hall in the Air Force in the world. And, that's kind of ironic because you don't even get to enjoy your food in boot camp. But, going back, so, National Guard and Reserves, it can be just 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year. Yes, you can just be a weekend warrior, as what they call, let's say what they call you. Or you can be an active duty National Guard and Reserves if there are openings. So you can actually choose your base. So if there's a National Guard or Air Force Reserve base by your house or relatively close, you can actually see what openings they have, and you can actually enlist to that base in case you don't want to go active duty and be shipped off to God knows where. So, for instance, I chose a base. I chose Milwaukee. I chose to stay here in Milwaukee, and it was probably the worst decision of my life. I was young. I was stupid. I was chasing a girl from high school that I had been off and on with. Hindsight being 2020, I should have just got shipped off, because my entire graduating class, except for one other person, went to Japan. So, and if you don't know already, I'm actually half Korean. I was actually born in Incheon, South Korea. Lived there for 7 years. I was adopted. I was naturalized, and after becoming a citizen and after growing up in the country, I decided I wanted to join the U.S. military on my own accord and serve my country. So, if I would have been stationed in Japan, I would have just been I could have almost skipped over the sea of Japan, and I could have just been in Korea. So, and I would have seen a lot more of the world. So, anyway, back on track. So an E3, once again, makes about $25,000 a year. Now, if you can make an E4, that's a senior airman, you're going to make about $30,664 a year, or basically $2,555 a month. And then if you ever get to become a staff sergeant, which is an E5, you'll make between $36,000 and $38,484 a year, which equates to about $3,000 to $3,200 a month. The reason why there's a big gap is because it's determined by how long you're in the military. In 6 years, I never got past the senior airman. I probably could have gotten a staff sergeant if I would have been at a different base. I had some issues with my supervisor, so we actually got into it a couple times. He did not like me. He actually wasn't my supervisor when I joined, so that's a whole other story. Maybe I'll make another video for that. So typically 6 to 8 years, you should be able to make staff sergeant, depending on the base, depending on openings. So that's why there's that discrepancy of the pay. Now you're like, oh, that's still not a lot of money, but you haven't taken into consideration for housing allowance and subsistence allowance. So when you're in the military, you get chow. So if you're in an actual active duty situation, there's a chow hall. You get 3 squares a day, and depending on how big your base is, like if you got stationed at Shepherd Air Force Base, which is where I did training, they actually had 4 meals a day. They had a midnight snack, so it was actually more for the third shift school people, which I was. So it was kind of like our breakfast / dinner. It was really weird, but anyone could partake in that. So I mean, it's like I said, fantastic food. We're not talking just slop. I mean, we had every kind of burger you want: beef, bison, ostrich, turkey, regular beef. And then you had your sub station where they custom made sandwiches, and then you had your regular meals whether it was spaghetti or tuna casserole, I mean, I don't know who likes tuna casserole, or whatever the entree was for that day. And then there was a whole salad bar, a whole soup station. So I mean, it's a lot of food. It's great food. You probably will get sick of it every once in a while, so you'll probably go off for pizza and stuff like that. But it's essentially free. So think about that. Think of how much that adds up. 3 meals a day, at least 5 days a week. So you do get subsistence allowance to cover meals that technically aren't covered by the military. So it's like, especially on the weekends, depending on the base, your chow hall might not be open. If your base is smaller, it'll help cover for that. If you have a family, it'll help cover. It's not a lot. I believe it's like $300 some dollars, something like $369 basically a month. It's not a lot. You're not going to get rich off of it. You're not going to be able to go and buy steaks and lobster and all this stuff. So the other plus to this is housing. Now, if you're single, you are going to get stuck in barracks. And we're not talking like barracks from like 1970, Vietnam War, where there's like 80 people in this weird shaped barracks, with no air conditioning, you're on dirt. So in the Air Force, it was like basically college dorms, and I had 2 roommates to my dorm, but we got free cable, free internet, and then we shared. My whole hallway shared a bathroom, so it was like 6 toilets, like 6 urinals, and like 8 shower heads. And since we're all on different schedules, it kind of worked out great. So it's not a ton of privacy. Like, you're not gonna, it's gonna be kind of hard to like date and stuff, and but it's free housing. So if you are able to get on-house or on-base housing for families, that's fantastic. So BAH, that's basic housing allowance. For an E3, which is an Airman First Class, you're looking at about $1,176 a month in housing allowance. So that's to help pay for an apartment, to rent a house, something like that. If you're an E5, which is a staff sergeant, you're looking at $1,350 a month to help pay for housing. And that's whether it's on base or off base. Because sometimes on base housing isn't run by the military, it's run by some outside company, and you still have to pay rent. So there are those options. Now, once again, I'm not an expert. There's still a lot of things that I don't know. This is the research that I found. I always lived off base. So I always got housing allowance and BAH. So I mean, when you take into consideration. So I actually have figures here. So let's say for instance, you are a airman first class. So you're gonna make about what did I say? So there's two different. So according to this military pay calculator that I got from federalpay.org, your basic pay will be $29,185 a year. So you'll get about $14,436 in housing allowance a year, and about $4,419 in subsistence allowance. So your grand total, basically for everything, is $48,046 or $40.68. When you're thinking of basically what you're making, that's actually not that bad of money. So you have to take into consideration that you're going to get housing, you're going to get subsistence, you're going to get you can get health insurance, you'll get really affordable life insurance. So you'll have TRICARE. It's not the greatest, but it's free. Now, if you're lucky enough to stay long enough that you're a staff sergeant, you're looking at about $34,279.20 a year, according to federalpay.org. And then you'll get about $16,308 in housing and $4,419 in subsistence, which counts to $55,006.68. Pretty good. Not that bad. It took a long time for me to make that as a civilian. So it's definitely doable. Now, with that, you are getting that training. So you get sent to tech school, technical training for your AFSC. So that's whatever your job code. So mine was 2A636, Aircraft Electrical Environmental Systems Apprentice. So there are lots of jobs for the Air Force that you can do that'll give you skills for the civilian world should you ever choose to get out. It's all free. So you just have to give service. There is another option. So there are various academies that you can go to for the military. So start off the Air Force Academy. I believe it is in Colorado. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. For whatever reason, I did not do that part of the research. So a full education, a full degree from the Air Force Academy comes out to about $416,000 for your, basically for your degree. That's first class education, folks. $416,000. I mean, that's fantastic. And do you know how much you have to pay? Zero. That's because what you're doing is you're going to school for 4 years, or whatever long your degree is. I believe it's 4 years. And in return, you also will be serving in the Air Force as an officer for whatever length that your career is chosen for. So it could be 3 years, it could be 2 years, 6 years. You're going to have to talk to the Air Force about that. You're going to have to talk to the Air Force Academy about that. The difference between Air Force Academy and like boot camp, though, is that you're going to be doing stuff every day. So it's like kind of like boot camp every day, from what I hear. At least the first year, maybe 2. It's pretty rigorous. It's pretty hard. High standards. You're not going to be able to get in just being at the bottom 10% of your class in high school, and you're going to have to be a fairly smart person. You're going to have to get good scores on your ACTs and SATs. More on the ACTs, I believe, now, these days. It's been a while. And you're going to, you'll probably need some letters of recommendation to help you. But it is an option. And then once you graduate as an officer. So you're not an enlisted. You're an 01 or 02 or an 03. You're making a lot different money. You're talking more money than... I think a lieutenant makes about the same as a staff sergeant, I'm guessing. Last time I checked, that was a couple years ago. I might be wrong. Once again, don't quote me on this. Don't kill me, guys. So there are other options, though, if you don't want to join the Air Force. If you like the dirt, if you like crawling through dirt, if you like being deployed overseas a lot, and you want to wear really cool uniforms, you want to carry a rifle all the time, you can join West Point. So West Point, as you know, is, and disregard that noise, that is my cat sneezing. So West Point is for the Army. It's a very prestigious military school, and from what I hear, it's very hard to get into. Some of our greatest presidents have gone to West Point. Some of the greatest generals in the history of the United States have gone to West Point. West Point does have its faults, but once again, it is a great school. And once again, your length of schooling is determined by whatever job you take. And they have really great courses. For instance, I have paperwork right here. So West Point, they have, this is the Naval Academy. So, they have politics, chemical engineering, chemistry, civil engineering, computer science. They have economics, engineering psychology. So I'm just kind of going through some big ones: geography, environmental engineering, environmental science. We're looking at kinesiology, management, mathematical science, mathematical engineering, nuclear engineering, physics, psychology, sociology, systems engineering, aeronautical engineering. So I mean, there's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of great programs. This isn't just like they're gonna just teach you how to be a leader in the military and to drive those tanks into the wilderness and kill the enemy. No, it's an actual school. So you can get a first-class education for free as long as you meet their requirements and you get accepted. So with West Point, you end up graduating as an officer in the Army. I will put links below towards the end of the video for the various branches, various academies. Now there's another academy out there. It's the U.S. Naval Academy. So what's nice about the U.S. Naval Academy is that once you graduate, you can either join the Navy or you can join the Marines. So it's kind of weird. The Marines are basically like a branch of the Navy. I guess the Navy or the Marines are just a little more crazy. My sister's a Marine, so yeah. So they also have some really great programs like chemistry, electrical engineering, general science, which they have IT, mathematics, nuclear engineering, once again, physics, oceanography, which kind of makes sense for being the Navy, robotics and control engineering. So these are just some of the programs that you can get into. Once again, all free. If you can get in, I recommend that you try to get as many letters of recommendation as possible. Do well in your classes. I believe they kind of want you to be in the top 30% or higher of your graduating class. And you have to be mentally prepared. This is going to be 4 years. It's not going to be easy. But once again, it's schooling that you're going to get for free. So to sum it all up, you can get really great training from the military, whether it's going into an academy or it's going through boot camp. So, or going as an enlisted person, going to your boot camp and then going through technical training. So there's just dozens upon dozens of different career fields. Like I said, I joined as an aircraft electrical environmental systems apprentice, basically an aircraft electrician that also does heating, air conditioning, and pressurization of aircraft. So with that experience, I was actually able to use that to become basically a machine repairman, and now I'm kind of more like an engineering technician. So it kind of opens the door for a lot of things, because companies love hiring veterans just because of the fact that, I mean, first of all, they get a kickback basically from the government for hiring a veteran. They get a bonus for hiring veterans. But typically veterans are harder workers. Veterans, we show up on time, we rarely call in, we work really hard. So, we utilize our core values, like for the Air Force: integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do. It's kind of just a motto I live by every day. And that's something that you usually bring to the job. It gets ingrained in you, and it doesn't ever really leave you. So that's why people love hiring veterans. So you're able to get a great job, and you're able to go to these great training schools. And if that's not good enough for you, you can get the GI Bill. So let's say you go into a career path and you're like, I like this, but I don't know how it's going to relate to the civilian world. So you can take your GI Bill that you're going to get, whether you're in National Guard, Reserves, or active duty. You can take your GI Bill and go to hundreds, if not thousands, of different schools throughout the country. It will cover the full cost of tuition, and if you're lucky, you can get a kicker, which I received, and it was like $380 extra a month just for stuff. You know, whether I needed school supplies or gas or whatever. So it pays for your schooling, which means you can get a 4-year degree and have zero debt. Zero debt. And if you're, let's say, active duty, or let's say, let's say you are active duty for whether it's reserves, National Guard, or just active duty in general for the Air Force or Army, Navy, whatever, and you're able to go to school at the same time. Somehow you're able to juggle all of that. You're getting paid a full-time wage, and you're able to get free schooling. I mean, this is the fastest and easiest way to get free schooling. I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to get into have socialism. That's a whole different topic, but I don't know if we're ever going to get to that point where everyone's just going to get free college. But this is a way to get free college. Yes, there is a price tag attached to that, which is you have to serve your country. But it's not that bad. I can tell you right now, serving my country was the best thing I've ever done in my life. It is probably the most noble thing I'll have ever done in my life. And I mean that. It's truly been an honor to serve my country. I know so many veterans that feel that way. It's just a pride. Only 3% of the U.S. population serves in the military. So that's you're an elite company. Whether it's National Guard, Reserve, it doesn't matter. You're serving your country. So if you use the GI Bill, free education for whatever degree that you want, that's huge. Now, granted, if you're trying to go to Harvard or Yale or Marquette University or MSOE, I don't think it's going to cover the full cost of tuition just because the tuition's so expensive, but it'll reduce the amount of tuition for those higher premium schools. Now, let's say you decide to go to a technical school like here in Wisconsin, MATC, WCTC, Gateway Technical College, stuff like that. It'll be fully covered. So you can get a 2-year, 4-year degree and have zero debt, zero school debt. I mean, that is amazing. And especially, I don't know if you guys have been reading the news or watching the news, and people have been talking about student debt and how there are people that have paid like $30,000 of their $50,000 school loan, and they still owe like $40,000. That's real, guys. That is real. Student loans are no joke. That's a whole nother topic, but let's just put it this way. If you cannot have school loans, don't get school loans. So this is an option for you guys. Like I said, it's a fantastic opportunity, especially if you want to see the world for free, especially if you want to go active duty. I had a friend whose husband joined the Air Force, and he went actually to Europe, and they loved it. They were there for 2 years. They got to see all across Europe, made some great friends, and then he came back and got a fantastic job here in the States when he got out after 6 years. That is realistic, folks. And you don't have to do 6 years. There's different options for you depending. I believe the Army even has like a 2-year. Army guys, leave a comment below if that's true or not. I'm not sure. But last I knew, there was a 2-year option. So there are options for you guys for being in the military. And I figured this is, what better day to talk about this than on Veterans Day. So this leads me into the end of the video, since I've been rambling on forever here. So today is Veterans Day. I just want to thank all of my brothers and sisters, even in the Coast Guard. Yes, the Coast Guard. Because we have to make, if no one else, we have to make fun of the Coast Guard. But it's a privilege to call you my brothers and sisters, to serve our country. And for those that are serving overseas, God bless you, because that's a hard job. So some of you can't take your families. Some of you are deployed overseas, and you guys are struggling. And if you have a family, and it is a sacrifice financially to be in the military. So for all of you that are struggling, for all of you that are making sacrifices to serve this country and to make it a great and safe place for all of us to live, thank you so much. This country would not be found. This country would never been founded without veterans, without soldiers, without people that are willing to lay down their life for this country. And that's what makes this country great, because we don't force this upon anybody like other countries. It's all by basically volunteers, people that choose to. I mean, except for the draft, that's a whole different topic. But for the most part, most of us volunteer to serve. And a lot of people served honorably. My grandpa was a World War II hero. So, thank you to all of you. Very appreciative. And I'm hoping that this information was great. I'm hoping this information was helpful. If you have any questions, I'm more than willing to help you guys out. Send me a message, send me a comment. If you want to send me an email, you can do so through my website, stripesofvalor.org. That link will be right here. Also, if you guys haven't already, please like this video. Please also subscribe, share this video, especially for those people that are kind of on the fence about what they want to do with their life. If they're not sure, if they want to have all this debt and stuff like that, pass this video on. It's going to be very helpful. So, once again, thank you for spending your time with me. Thank you for spending Veterans Day with me. Remember to be the change that you wish to see in the world. And I'll see you guys next time.